listening to the WB Download, coming to you from Wieland Builders showroom in Studio 1C. We are a podcast centered around building custom homes, the customer experience of building a custom home, and a really entertaining listen from many great guests and interviews that may or may not have anything to do with building. I'm excited to share with you their voice and their stories that will enhance your idea of the custom builder world. Hey, welcome everybody to the WB Download. Today is Tuesday, April 9th, 2024. I'm Jeff Wieland with Wieland Builders, bringing you this 7th episode of 2024. Man, time just keeps moving on like we always talk about. We just recently had Easter 2 weekends ago, 1 week ago, 2 weekends ago, and that was a big celebration for our family. And just wanted to say happy Easter to everybody because I don't think we were close to it the last episode. Hopefully everybody enjoyed time with their family and understanding what Easter means. And the other thing that happened to it with us was we had opening day, Cincinnati Reds opening day. So what that means for Wieland Builders is we built a float. I say every year because we took a couple years off there when they had the ridiculous union negotiations where they couldn't figure out what day they were going to start the game because they were screwing around, and that COVID was here, and there was a couple of things that held us up there for a couple of years, but then we're back in it. So this was our 8th or 9th time doing the float. And it turned out really good. It was called the Outfield. We built a replica of the big boat that's in the outfield of Great American Ballpark, and just kind of made some cool things. I think I've got some video out there, which we'll upload to the WB Download site, and you can also see it on our social media pages. A couple funny things we did. I bought an outboard motor and put it on the back of it. You know, even though we had a big paddle wheel on the back of it, just a fun day for everybody. Just glad it's here and gone. It's a lot of hard work building that thing. My son and I and my brother and we really. Work hard. Our whole family, Raina, my daughter, and my wife, we're down there working on it quite a few times. It just takes a lot to put that thing together and make it really worth something. There was probably 150,000 people on the streets down there where there's normally 100 to 120. I think a lot of people were on spring break this year, plus the millions of people that see it on TV. You better make damn sure that it's going to be awesome. Otherwise, you just look like an idiot. So we really thought that it turned out great. We're waiting to hear from the Findlay Market Parade Group to find out if we won an award again this year. And if we did, you'll be sure to hear about it. Trust me. But we sit on pins and needles every year waiting to find out. So we rolled off number 64, which we were like the first third of the parade group. There's probably 225 floats in the entire parade. And hopefully we can get something out of it. So I finally got it broke down just maybe at the end of last week and got everything put back together. We build this float out of materials that we've had for years building it, plywood, scrap materials that we get off the jobs, 2x4s, 2x6s, everything we can possibly think of. We try and reuse things that we've used in the past. If it was special, benches, or if it was some special piping or something of the sort, and we keep it all stored in the back left corner of our shop. It goes from this 40-foot or 60-foot long float down to about a 4x10 stack in the back corner of our shop. It's kind of wicked, but so that was a really big day for us, and I'm just glad it's here and gone. It's over. It takes a lot of work. So on the farm, we planted 7 acres of grass back there a couple weeks ago that thankfully we've gotten some really big storms come through here in the last couple of days, and we've got a lot of rain, so it's had some time to sit in. We fertilized everything, and we had our last calf between the last time we talked. We had it. She was due on the 25th, and she waited till the 25th to have it. And me and Raina and Cody and Shannon went down because, of course, the morning I got a ton of stuff to do is the morning that she starts acting like she's going to do something. So I waited. She didn't have it, so I ended up pulling it, and which means I assisted it and pulled it out. And it's a huge bull calf, little white face on it, pretty cool looking calf. We named him Otis from Barnyard, and because it was nobody's birthday that day, and so everything turned out good. So things are going good on the farm. Just this rain, everything's a mess still, and can't wait to get to the pasture season where we kick everybody out on the grass. Homerama, give you an update on Homerama. We are pretty much 90% done with the inside trim. We had so many custom cabinets in there this year. We were waiting on a few more cabinets to arrive in the house, and we're going to start setting them. There's a ton of cabinets in this house, and which takes a long time. The outside is got at least one coat on it. Some areas have two coats. We have painted brick on the outside of this house. We've got our porches poured and setting the outside fireplace and just doing a couple of things here and there. We got all graded up. Place looks really good. I'm just trying to drag my feet to get through a couple of things. Got a couple things I need to fix in there that I didn't catch and I screwed up, and I don't even want to talk about them. But to think that everything goes perfect on these houses, I mean, I could sit here and talk all the time. Like we say, hey, everything's great, everything's perfect, and all I'm going to tell you is the good stuff. Well, I have a window in the dining room of this house that's on a 45-degree wall, and just noticed after we put the beams up in that area that that window is not centered on that wall. And it doesn't do you any good to get pissed off about it, because all we got to do is figure out how to fix it. And of course, I find it after the drywall's on, after the brick's on. So we got to go back and do a couple things to get that thing squared away. There's so many different details. I do so many different walkthroughs. We have so many different checklists, and there's always something that sneaks through. And well, that's one of them. So good thing is that we're the manufacturer. So if we made it, we can fix it. And so Homerama, the show's coming up in August, and I'm going to be looking forward to getting through this rainy season here, so we can get our yard in, get everything established, and get it looking good. House is coming along awesome. Like I said, I told you all the time. Every time I go out there, I fall in love with it. And then the only other thing is, right now I just finished. What did I finish watching? And I watched the LPGA Tour movie or show on Netflix, which was really good. I'm not much of a golfer, but I like watching and hearing about all the guys in any professional sport, their personal lives and the things that go on with them. So I watched that. That was cool. And now I'm back to Yellowstone. I rewatched season 4, and now I'm into season 5. Season 4 was awesome, but season 5 is kind of a sleeper. But hoping to catch the end of it. And then, and I don't know what I'm going to watch after that. Now, I think I saw something on Apple TV that was something that was pretty cool the other day. I think I'm going to drop down and watch that. So that's what's happening in the life of me and Wieland Builders. I didn't tell you much about what we got with Wieland Builders. We've got a big one that we've got the foundation, and we poured the footer a couple weeks ago. Now I think they're stripping panels today up there. So we poured a great big wall up in Fairfield. We dug one yesterday up in Oxford. These are all the things I probably tell you the last time, but we've been held up by the weather pretty good here. We've probably gotten 5 inches of rain, 6 inches of rain here in the last 3 weeks, and a lot of big storms, wind blowing, wind damage, things coming through. And then we've got a couple other that we're in for permits for, and we've got a basement that we're getting ready to finish. So a lot of stuff going on. We're getting ready to sign a contract here. And the other thing that I'm getting ready to do is I'm leaving this week on Friday to go to my Spring Builder 20 group. And we are in Beaumont, Texas, with my man, Stoney Pettit down there from Anderson Custom Homes. And I'm super excited to be down there because this is the first time we've gone down to this place. Stoney is one of my pals in the group. And I mean, they're all pals of mine because we've been in there so long and we're all good, get along great. But Stoney was one of the first guys that I met at the Builder Show before we had joined the group, and he's a Texas guy. So, but really cool stuff. And he built Cincinnati Reds ball players house down in Beaumont, and I'm not sure if he wants me to tell everybody that, but so that's another part that I think is really cool to see. So I'll give you a big update on the next episode of what we learned in our Builder 20 group this time around. We're doing our financials, which means that everybody puts all their cards on the table, shows everybody everything everybody's got, and how well we've done for the last year, and if anybody's dipped, anybody's not doing what they should be doing, and we get on their ass pretty good. So, and I hope that my goal is for them never to have to get on my ass about whether or not I'm making money and whether or not I'm being successful running the company and the things that we need to do around here. So that's what we got coming up today for our episode. We have kind of a pal of mine, good friend of mine, Mr. John Sauerland with Moen Plumbing Fixtures. And John has been a part of our team for quite some time now. I've known him for a long time, but we started working together in 2010. We were building a Homerama house in 2011 for our 2011 show, and we were using another faucet company. And they didn't do anything for us, I mean, and it was, and what I mean by that is I need support. We need faucets for our showrooms. We need you to come into the office and actually sell us something, and show people different things, modern things that are coming up, different trends, and understand support with fixtures and faucets and why people should buy these faucets and all sorts of different things. So I got upset with that guy. I called John. He's the first phone call I made, and he comes over, and all of a sudden I'm like, holy cow, there's a whole nother world out there. And of course, John has this incredible support from Moen. We were getting ready to build in a neighborhood one time, or we were thinking about developing a neighborhood is what it was. And he says, hey, I can give you all the statistics around there. I can give you all the I don't know what I'm thinking about. Demographics is the word I'm looking for that area. And Moen does that for us. I mean, just really cool. So in our showroom here, you'll see a ton of fixtures and faucets that we have on display, which they've provided to us. He trades them in and out because they've got to be updated. And he always is coming in with their books and saying, hey, here's what's hot, here's what's happening, here's what's new. So Moen has been a trade supplier of ours for the last 13, 14 years. And John has been what I consider a team member for the last 13, 14 years. And it's just a pleasure to have him around here. So I'm excited to bring him on here and introduce him. And let's see what we got to say. John, welcome to the WB Download. All right. As I said, today our guest is John Sauerland from Moen Plumbing Fixtures, and I want to welcome John in. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.
Hey, I'm glad you're here, man. I consider you part of our team because we've been together for a long time, and we started doing business together in 2010, I believe it was. That was at 2011 Foxborough Home Rama, and I don't know if you know this or not, but I can't remember where you and I met at, but I got pissed off enough at my previous supplier, and I'm like, I'm not doing anything with you anymore. And we got hooked up, and we've been together ever since. Yep. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Where'd you grow up at? How many kids you got? Your wife? Tell me. Let's dig in so people can just do a Google search on you and start stalking you for the rest of your life.
Well, that'd be fun. I actually was born in Batesville, Indiana.
Nice.
Which isn't too far from here. Didn't live there very long. We moved to Harrison, Ohio.
Nice.
Yep. So we lived in Harrison, Ohio from when I was an infant until 12 years old. And then from there, we moved to the farm for about 6 months as my dad was in between jobs.
Yeah.
So we...
Where was that at? In Harrison?
No, actually out in Cedar Grove, Indiana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
300-acre dairy farm.
Yeah.
So got to experience the life of a dairy farmer.
Yeah, there you go.
For 6 months.
There you go. I did some time out in Cedar Grove.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful place, man. Love it out there.
They have a bar with a bowling alley in it. I don't know if you knew that or not.
I did. I've been there. I have been there. As a matter of fact, not that long ago I was there. So
yeah.
Visiting the old stomping grounds. From there my dad took a job that we ended up in Tampa, Florida, of all places.
Oh man.
Yeah. So it was a culture shock for me coming from the country and moving to Tampa, Florida, the big suburban area. So
how long were you down there?
We were down there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 years.
What did your dad do for a living? Did he have a specific job, or was he kind of a salesman, or what did he do?
No, he was what we called a pollution control engineer. That's when the EPA was coming down on all the manufacturing in the country to clean up their discharge of either water or air. So he focused in both of those areas, water and air.
Huh.
So
that's like a scientist, right? I mean,
it was required an engineering degree, and that's what he had, was an engineering degree. So that's what took us down there. He worked for Jim Walter Corporation of all companies, who was really, really big in the building industry back then.
What did they do?
Jim Walter Corporation. Oh, they owned Briggs Plumbing Supply, Celotex Roofing. Oh
man,
there was actually they built homes as well too. Jim Walter Corporation built homes all through the South.
Yeah.
I think at one time they had a location here in Cincinnati out near Batavia. where they, throw those houses up on the long side of the road and you come in and look at them and then they go build on your lot.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yep.
Yeah. There's a couple guys still following their history right now.
What's that?
There's a couple guys still following their history right now that do that. They TK and some of those guys, they set up their models and side of the road. And I never understood that philosophy.
I don't either.
Literally building a house that's worth nothing sitting on the side of the road. And
it's a huge investment to make. That's a huge investment.
I don't even do it in a neighborhood that I know I'm going to be building it.
I understand that.
So is Busch Gardens in Tampa?
Yes, it is.
Did you spend some time down there? Yeah. That's one of the things I remember about a kid being going on trips down there, and that was the coolest place ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then it was even more fun when you were drinking age.
Sure. Yeah. I haven't experienced that yet, but
you get a free beer afterwards. I don't think they do it anymore, but I know when we were always anxious when we get to the right age that we could go have a beer, go to the Busch Gardens and go have a beer. So
yeah, I don't think I ever put two and two together when I was a kid that Busch Gardens was Anheuser-Busch, and I didn't realize all that. I was just looking at the animals.
Yep.
So you're in Tampa and you're there for 4 years and then you come back here?
Yep. We came back to Cincinnati. Yep. Moved to the east side when we came back.
All right.
Because the company my dad worked for then was actually building equipment to handle the air pollution control side of things.
Okay.
So that was located in Blue Ash.
All right.
A little company called United Air Specialist.
Okay. All right.
Right on Creek Road.
There you go. Yep. So then, how old are you at that point? And
so I was 16 when we moved back to Cincinnati.
Okay. Where'd you go to high school when you moved back here?
Sycamore.
All right.
Yep.
There you go.
Sycamore High School.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice. That's good.
Yep.
A lot of people. I know a lot of people from Sycamore. So you go to college, or you go straight to work, or what do you do?
I didn't really do much of anything right away. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So actually, for whatever reason, I got very close to my counselor in high school.
Yeah.
And he called me up one day out of the blue and just said, "Hey, I got a guy that's looking for some young, energetic people to come to work for him." So I went to work for a startup pharmaceutical company.
Huh.
And they encouraged me to go to school, and they said they would help me with my school. So I did that. I took them up on that offer, and I went to the University of Cincinnati. Went to night school for a little while, and then at one point I just decided, I'm going to go for this all the way, and I quit my job and went to school full time. So.
Huh. That's pretty cool. That's amazing to me. I hope that teachers and anybody can understand that it takes one person to influence somebody else to set you on that path for the rest of your life. Yep. I mean, that's something that is just one person can do that. And I was listening to because I coach youth sports, and I was listening to a guy speak down at Sycamore one day. We were down there, and the guy said, he said the second most influential person outside of your parents is a coach that can make decisions, that can lead you, that can say things that you'll always remember, that can piss you off and like you never want to be like that ever again in your life. You'll hate them for the rest of whatever it is. It's influential, but for that counselor to be able to do that for you, that's unreal. And I hear those stories. Maybe it's not even a counselor; it's just somebody else. That's really cool.
Yep,
really cool.
So, it's obviously there was some sort of a bond between us. I don't know what it was, that he remembered me, and he said, this is a guy that you need to talk to. And so I will never be more thankful to a guy than him.
That's good.
He was a good guy.
That's good.
Really good guy.
That's good. We hired a guy here one time, and I said, "How'd you get started in this business?" He said, "Well, me and my friends were riding bikes, and this guy that worked for or owned a roofing company come up to him and said, 'Hey, you look like you're a smart kid. Quit messing around over here and come over here and work for me.'" And that's how he got started into it. That's just some random person.
Yep.
It's amazing. That's a goodness of a heart.
And I don't know. Sometimes I think it has something to do. When you look at a person and you start talking to them, sometimes there's an immediate connection.
Yeah.
And I think what you just said is, I thought there probably was some immediate connection there.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that 100%. And I also know that it goes the opposite way, where you can meet somebody and you look at them and you're like, "I hate your guts. I don't want to talk to you anymore."
Well, yeah.
But hopefully it's for the earlier, it's, to where you see somebody and you just connect and you can really, you can make friends.
I try not to judge anybody by their cover. Man.
Yeah. Yeah. I try. The key word there is try.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I try. I do. And then I ask for second opinions, and I still.
What do you think of that person?
So now you're in your career path, right? I mean, you're coming out of Cincinnati. Was in Cincinnati? Is that where you met your wife?
I did not. Okay. Did not.
All right.
Interesting. So when I came out of school, job market was very, very tough.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to have my dad working at a company that they needed young talent. So
yeah.
I actually started working there while I was still going to school. Worked in the shipping department.
Okay.
Building crates and stuff to put around the special equipment they were building there. So
that's cool.
When I graduated, they offered me a job and went to work there. So
what happened to the pharmaceutical company? Where they were a startup? Did they succeed, or did
they did actually turned into quite a large operation here in Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yep.
You can't name them. You're not allowed.
I can. I didn't know if I was allowed to or not. It turned into Duramed Corporation, the Arrington family.
Yeah. Yeah. We built a couple houses for them guys.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're super. They are the nicest people. The nicest people. It's Prasco now, right?
Correct. It is Prasco now.
They do so much. I mean, that's pretty cool that's where your story leads back to. I didn't know that until today. But those guys, Phil and his dad and their whole family, if anybody's ever been by Prasco Park in Mason, at Christmas time, they do all these things for just the general public, free. They have a whole ball field league division that they support for kids to play baseball. And it's like semi-pro.
It is.
It's the real deal. But I mean, just in our dealings with them, we built a couple houses for the family. And it's just amazing how nice they are. And I'm so cool to hear that story from you, to think back that goes back a long ways and are still continuing that tradition.
Yep. I knew the whole family. So Tom was the one that started it, but his brother Bobby worked there and his other younger brother worked there. And I knew all of those guys really well. And they were a great family. And
that's pretty neat.
Yep. Encouraged you to try to better your life in some way or another.
All the time.
Very influential on me as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's good.
Great people.
That's good. That's good. All right. So
at Prasco Park also, they host, I think D2 or D3 baseball World Series there.
Yeah.
Playoffs there. So.
Yep. And during COVID, that's where you could find the entire Cincinnati Red squad. I mean, they put up tents and that's where they hung out at. They weren't allowed to be at the ballpark, whatever they couldn't do. And they were all up there at Prasco. And they hit them away. So we did a lot of work for those guys. Yeah. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. So you're working for this company that your dad. You're in a completely different industry, in the I want to say, I keep saying eco-friendly environment, but it's working against whatever problems you have in the what word am I trying to say? I don't know.
I guess
I want to say ecology, not economy.
Yeah. Ecology, yeah, I guess that would be a good way to put it. Sold equipment that if you're producing some sort of a product that generates a lot of smoke, right? We'd put equipment in there to gather that smoke up and clean the air before it was discharged to the outside. So that's the kind of thing we did. Yeah. One of the biggest products we had was called Smoke Eater. And Smoke Eater was placed in bowling alleys and bingo halls for all the cigarette smoke. Yeah. Office buildings, because cigarette smoking back then was, it's very prevalent everywhere. Yeah. I mean, just about, you weren't cool if you didn't smoke, right? So now it's the other way around. You're not
You
cool.
used to smoke, didn't you?
I did.
We had that conversation. Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
Quit a long time ago.
Yeah, I did too. I quit 12 and a half years ago, but man, it's crazy. I haven't been drinking coffee, and I just started drinking coffee about 2 weeks ago. I don't know what it was. I just was like, I had an itch to get it. And it's 12 and a half years, and I started drinking coffee, and I'm sitting there going, man, it's almost like it was yesterday that I was smoking, and it's so hard to get rid of that thought and that. I mean, man, it's insane what those things do to you.
Yep, I agree.
And I wish there was some way you could show kids or people today to say this is how bad this is going to screw you up.
Yep. There's a lot of things that can do that today.
Right. Oh
man.
yeah, but I mean cigarettes. Oh. Man,
cigarettes was a problem. That's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
Smoke Eater. Wow, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was a brand name, Smoke Eater.
Oh,
yep.
I remember.
Sold them all over the world. Shipped container full after container full to Japan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crazy.
Huh.
They bought them. They bought them by the. I mean, I guess for lack of a better word, by the shipload, man.
Yeah.
Factory was a buzzing all the time, man.
Jeez.
It was
right here in Cincinnati.
Right here in Cincinnati. Yep. They got all kinds of awards for, what do you call it? Foreign trade, I guess.
Yeah.
It's because they were shipping so much stuff overseas from the United States. So another thing that's a bygone product of today's world.
Right. Yeah.
You don't see a lot of that anymore.
Nope.
So, but ironically, when I worked at United Air Specialists, I don't know, I was maybe in my third year there. They somehow I got volunteered to organize and run the company picnic, and another girl in the marketing department. She and I became very good friends. She's like, okay, well, I don't have anybody to bring. You got anybody to bring? I'm like, no. So she goes, well, I'm going to bring a friend. I said, I'm going to be too busy to have anybody here. I mean, I'm not going to have time to give them attention or anything else. I got to make sure everything runs smoothly, et cetera, et cetera. Well, she brings a friend. And for whatever reason, we all kind of hit it off. And after the picnic was over, we decided to go grab a beer. And next thing I know, my friend, she's telling me, hey, you know what? You ought to come to such and such a bar tonight and hang out with us and have a beer. And so I'd show up, and there was my wife Nancy sitting there. So that went on for quite a while, and then one thing led to another, and next thing you know, we're married. So,
that's neat.
Yeah.
How long did you guys know each other before you got married?
We about 18 months.
Really?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Short. It's like I said, sometimes you just know when you see that person and you think
it's going to work out.
Yeah.
I mean, you think it's going to last?
Do I think it's going to last?
Do you think it'll be all right?
Oh, I think so. It'll be 30 some years this year, man. So
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Where did she grow up at? She grew up down here?
She did. She's a Cincinnati girl. She's from Finneytown. She grew up in Finneytown.
Nice.
Yeah. She went to Ursuline Academy.
Yeah. My dad grew up over there too.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you're running a company picnic. You meet your wife. You're getting married, and how do you get started into Moen? I mean, what did you have? Did you have a number of sales jobs? Did you start as the salesperson? Is that what your title is, a salesperson? What do you consider yourself?
For right now,
I just asked you like 39 questions.
You did. I was not sure which one to answer first. So just to rewind that a little bit. So we get married and we decide we want to have a family.
Yeah.
The current job I'm in at United Air Specialists, I'm on the road all week long.
Yeah.
Literally, I'm a regional manager. I'm flying all over the country and checking on distributors and et cetera. So I'm catching 6, 7, 8 flights a week. I'm leaving sometimes on Sunday afternoon, coming home on Friday. Sometimes I'm leaving on Monday, coming home on a Saturday. And I mean, it got very old very fast.
I bet.
And when I was growing up, my dad was, because he was a specialist, he was always gone a lot too. And I thought to myself, when I have children, I want to be a part of my kids' lives.
Yeah.
So I said, honey, I'm not in a hurry to get a job, but when you get pregnant, I'm going to get a new job. And I want to find a job that gives me the flexibility to be a part of my family's life. And so I don't know how many interviews I went through and landed on this one. And this is really a funny story because I'm working at UAS and I've had so many interviews and I was starting to lose track of some of them, when they were and where they were at. So I knew I had an interview at the Courtyard in Blue Ash, but I couldn't remember the guy's name. So I'm right around the corner at work, and so I'm like, I got to go early. I got to go to lunch early. I got to take care of some business. And I go, it's fine. So I went over to the hotel, and I'm like, how am I going to figure out this guy's name? So I went up to the clerk at the desk, and I said, I got a question for you. He goes, and I sort of spelled it out a little bit for him. He goes, go around the corner and pick up the house phone. So I go around the corner and pick up the house phone. And he goes, yes, sir. Can I help you? I said, yeah, that thing I was talking to you about earlier. He goes, yeah, that is Mr. Bill Wallace, and he is in room blah, 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 blah. I said, could you buzz him and let him know that I'm here, please? And he said, sure, I can do that. So I went back to the front desk and I slipped him a 20 and said, thank you for that, man. I appreciate it.
That's cool.
So I go back and we had a great talk and great interview. And I don't know, probably lasted an hour and a half. And then I go back to work. I get a phone call at work about 4:30. He goes, hey, can you come back for a second interview this evening? And I said, sure, I'll come back for a second interview that evening. So I go back, and back then it wasn't a lot of the stuff you go through today in human resource departments where you got to get drilled down. And he just had a little test there. And I remember the name of it. It was called Kroom's test. And it was a personality test. And he asked me to do it. And I guess he had the answers there or something, but he got through it. And he's like, I want to offer you the job. I said, really? He said, yeah, I want to offer you the job. I'm like, all right. So we started negotiating and talking. And I said, well, I can't give you a yes or no right now. I said, I need to go home and talk to my wife about it. So I did. And I called him up next day and said, I'll take the job. He goes, can you start next week? I'm like, no. Don't work like that. I'm giving my company 2 weeks notice. I'm not just going to take off and leave them. So I officially started August 1st in 1988 with Moen.
Yeah.
So
wow.
Be 36 years this August.
Huh. So he was just staying at the courtyard. Like I thought you were leading down a path like you were going to go work for Marriott Corporation.
No, that was my interview with Moen, man.
There you go. Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
No kidding.
Yep.
Man, that's a long way to go. And that dude helping you out to get there and all that, that's pretty cool.
Yep. Had a lot of people guide me through my life, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
So did they send you, I mean, they would have had to have shipped you somewhere to teach you about faucets and product training and all. Did they do any of that?
Nope, they didn't.
Nope. Said, here, come look at this magazine and start selling this stuff.
Basically, they just started shipping stuff to me, and here's samples, here's books, here's whatever, and just go after it, And
you're responsible for your own everything. I mean, you've got to find your customer base. You've got, I mean, do they have a presence in Southwest Ohio at that point in time? And you're going out.
We had a small presence.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had a small presence.
So you're going to supply houses, you're going to builders, you're going to
picked plumbers. Up the old yellow pages. Yeah. A lot of people aren't going to know what those are anymore today, but picked up the old yellow pages and went into the plumbing section and just started circling and writing down names and building up.
Start driving around.
Just start driving around.
Man.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep.
I mean, it's not like amazing to me because I remember those days. I remember those. We up until the time we moved here, which was 4 years ago, we still had a stamp guy that walked around Fairfield and sold us stamps. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, and this dude was a trip. And
you talking about postage stamps?
Like stamps, like
rubber stamps.
Yeah, like it says it's got our logo on it, and I mean those things ain't cheap either. But I mean, I'll bet you the calves on this dude had to look like something I pull off the farm because he walked a million miles a day. But he was a door-to-door salesman. And now if somebody comes walking in my door, I'm like, what the hell? Why is this guy here?
Yep.
And back then you needed him to be there because that's how you learned about your product.
Right.
Man, that's so cool to see that you're a pioneer.
Yep. Yep. Technology's changed all that, right?
Yeah. I mean, completely.
Yep.
So you've got boxes of fixtures because I'm going like, I don't know if anybody cares about this, but I do. This is really cool, interesting to me. So you've got boxes of fixtures in your car and you say, hey, I'm selling from Moen, and people say, what's Moen? Or they already know maybe. And are you going to buy this or buy that? And they make the decision.
No, so we didn't actually have it. All we had were samples.
Yeah.
Right? So my job was to convince people that this is what they needed to use.
Yeah.
And we had what we call two-step distribution. It was all through plumbing wholesalers. Those are the only people that bought direct from Moen.
Okay.
And so I was going out to try to create the demand.
Yeah.
It's two-step it. So that's what my job was, is to create the demand.
So crazy because you're working for Moen, representing Moen. There's only two places that you can buy these faucets at or fixtures. And so you're driving business to these cats that are over-the-counter guys. I mean,
that's correct.
And that's it.
That is absolutely correct.
I need to find a person like that.
Yep.
Just going out and selling Wieland Builders.
Yep.
They don't work for me.
Yep.
I don't pay them. They're just selling for me.
That might be a hard one to get.
Good. So that's pretty neat. So you've been doing this how long have you been doing this?
It'll be 36 years.
36 years. What keeps you motivated? And I ask everybody this question because I think it's, and I got to be careful because I'm going like, what keeps you going that long? And I'm sitting there looking at me. I've been doing this for 27. I've been doing it my whole life, but I'm full time for 27 years. And it's a drive that you have to have. But I think about like Dusty Baker. I mean, and he's sitting in a dugout at the World Series, and he's been doing this for 115 years. I mean, what keeps this dude drive? What keeps him motivated? Same thing with you. What gets you up in the morning? What motivates you? What makes you want to continue? What was your loyalty? Why'd you have such good loyalty to Moen?
First of all, good company.
Yeah.
Second of all, because the position I'm in, I had the freedom to basically, it was my own business.
Yeah.
But I'm working for a large corporation. I built my bank of business. They're all my relationships. They're all my friendships. And I think, number one, I love educating people about our product. I mean, I think what's inside of me is I like teaching people, whether it's about faucets or whatever, anything that I know anything about, I like teaching people about it.
Yeah.
And that's the first part of it. But now that I'm a lot longer into my career and I know I've probably forgotten more than I know today. But at the end of the day, what really drives me now is relationships and friendships like this.
Yeah. I feel the same way. I mean, you build that. We build it, you and I, probably more so through the Home Builders Association and the events that we had at the Home Builders Association, and not just doing business together.
Correct.
But it's been a healthy relationship either way.
Yep.
And I would agree with you 100%. So Moen, and I think about faucets and fixtures, and I think there's probably only about 4 big companies that I look, and when I start thinking about faucets, Moen, of course, is number one. It's our faucet. It's what we deal with, and it's our loyalty to them. Not to say that I don't even know I can't remember the last time we used anything else. Here's a question I always have for you, because people always do this crap to me. Is well, I see that water heater over at Home Depot for $100 less. Is it true that the faucets that are sold in the big box stores that are not the same faucets that we're using professionally in the houses? So if you sell a Moen faucet at one of the box stores, is that the same faucet that I'm buying?
It carries the same name.
Yeah.
It carries the same warranty. But in actuality, is it made up of the same material that we make the professional products that we sell to you? No.
Right.
So the way that works is the big box stores come to us and they say, okay, we want you to build us a faucet that looks like this, but it has to meet this price point. So we look at it and we're like, can we really do that? So we're like, okay, we'll build it for you. But what do we have to do to build it? We have to change some of the material that we use in that product in order to get to that price point so that we make money and they make money.
Yeah.
So take that for what it is.
Yeah. We've always used a comparison, and I don't know why I'm talking about this, because I'm not knocking those big stores, because we really need them anymore. But if you take our faucet that we're using, and I say it professionally because we are the professionals, and you take a faucet that you're going to get over there, our box is probably 10 pounds heavier than that one. Correct. I mean, it's just that big of a difference. So I think that getting back to Moen and talking about the big companies that we deal with, one of the ways we ended up doing business with you is we were with a competitor, and it was reliant on that salesperson, whoever that representative was. And I think he repped he didn't just rep faucets, he repped correct. Multiple other things. And I was beating on him for a home rama house. This is the first house we had done in a long time, and wanted him to, I always started free. You know that. I mean, you do know that for real, because I always I started free, and then we go up from there. It's a reverse auction. And he was just like, I ain't doing nothing for you. So I'm like, all right, well, easy enough. I can make that decision. So I started talking to you, and it wasn't that you gave us something. I think it was you came over here and said, hey, here's what we're all about. and you gave me the deal about Moen. But the other thing was that, hey, we're going to give you demographics. We can give you this. We can give you, you're going to start a neighborhood in Mainville, Ohio, and we'll do the demographics for you. And you would provide that for me. And there was so much other things that went on. But it's the same thing that you talked about in the beginning of this podcast was when we meet and we start talking, we automatically form a relationship. We automatically said, hey, we're going to be buds. This is what we're going to do. So here we are, 14 years later, and still doing business with us, and still doing business together, and we're still doing Moen faucets. So what else? I mean, Moen is not just plumbing faucets. I mean, they do sinks. There's a number of different things that you guys do. Tell us more about what goes on with Moen.
So Moen's always been looked at as an innovative company, and we try to bring innovative things to how you get your water in your home. So there's a number of aspects to that. I think our first digital product was a digital showering system, which when we brought it out, we were one of the first in the United States with a digital showering system. And people are going to ask, well, what's a digital showering system? Well, basically, it's all controlled electronically. You have a little touchpad in your shower, and you turn it on with the touchpad. You adjust the temperature with the touchpad. You turn on different functions with the touchpad. And the valve is actually somewhere else. It's not in the wall behind the handle like it is in a typical shower. It's somewhere else where it can be serviced easily.
Yeah.
So that was our first thing. And that was probably, I'm going to guess, 12, 15 years ago when we came up with the first digital shower.
Yeah. I didn't realize it was that long ago.
Yeah. So since then, we are really driving a lot of our innovation towards the connected part of the world. So today we have connected kitchen faucets, and people are like, what do you need a connected kitchen faucet for? So can you imagine yourself having a young child right now that's needing to be fed? You can go into your phone and you can have presets in there, and you can actually say, okay, 8 ounces of water at 81 degrees. And you can have that programmed in there. And the baby starts crying, and it's feeding time at 2 a.m. You can roll over and hit your phone to that preset, and the faucet will come on and run until it gets to 81 degrees, and then it'll turn off. And there's a little light on there. It'll say it flashes kind of a blue-green. And when it gets blue-green, it's ready. So you just go down and grab the baby bottle, stick it under there, and wave your hand over the little sensor, and it comes on. It delivers 8 ounces of water at 81 degrees, and you're back up feeding the baby, and you didn't have to get out of bed extra early to warm that bottle up. So
that's cool.
That's just a small thing. You can talk to them. You can connect them with Alexa or whatever other device you have in your home, and you can give it commands, and you can tell it exactly what you want, the temperature of the water, and how much you want from a tablespoon all the way up to 15 gallons. You can tell it what to do, and in 4 different languages. So it's crazy. Yeah. So not only kitchen faucets, but now the showering systems work like that too. We have some lavatory faucets that are not totally connected yet, but they have that technology. And then we have whole house leak detection systems that are all connected product, and whole house, those small leak detectors, sump pump monitoring systems that are all connected. So, as the connected world goes, we continue to try to bring products to the people that are meaningful. So.
And I think some of those other products that you're talking about, those are things that we need to hear from you as builder, and our plumber needs to be able to understand it, because plumbers get set in their ways a lot of times, and they're going to be like, well, I'm not using that. That's dumb. But like you're talking about, that whole house leak detection system is fairly inexpensive and can save you more than what that thing's worth in the long run. And it just doesn't, I think about this because I want everybody to know that they could use these kind of things instead of just putting them in our houses. And it's going to save you a lot of time, a lot of money. It's super innovative.
Yep. Yeah. The product that we're talking about is called FLO by Moen. And as a matter of fact, the insurance industry is taking a really hard look at this now. They're realizing that what they spend on payouts for water damage in a home is 4 times more likely, or 4 times as much as fire and burglary and all the other claims combined. Yeah. It's 4 times that. So it's a big number. So
Yeah.
they're trying to be proactive now. And what they're asking their homeowners to do is, hey, take a look at this device. And if you put this in, we might give you a little break on your premium. So which actually pays for the device.
Nice.
But I've had it installed in my house for 4 years, 5 years now. And I'll tell you, it has saved me multiple times. Yeah.
Water is it's a pain in the ass.
It is.
It's our number one moisture, water, humidity, whatever we're dealing with that has to do with water in building is our number one arch enemy.
Yep.
We're trying to keep it out and we're trying to keep it in. So, I mean, you got to keep it in the spot that it's supposed to be at, and you got to keep it out of the house all the time.
And there's so many little pieces and parts that all go to it. It can be any one of them.
As soon as something minor goes wrong, and that can, just like you're talking about, can really screw things up. So it's really, really important. I don't think people understand the importance of that because we get so used to things just working, until they don't. And then you're like, so when you're talking about that sump pump detection, the wonderful, super intelligent people at the Building Codes Authority have gone to the lengths of connecting the GFI on your sump pump to your garage door opener. So that way, when the garage door opener doesn't work, you realize that your sump pump's not working. You can't get in the damn house to fix the sump pump because your garage door won't go up. So this is genius at work. So all they really need to do is talk to the Moen manufacturers and say, hey, this is something we can do besides that. And that would be really cool. But so that's something that's really neat.
It's unbelievable.
It is unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
I think that I always said this about the farming business is, but about any business probably, what if the general public knew every single thing that went on, every detail that went on, you'd blow your mind. First, you'd probably never buy anything ever again.
Exactly.
You
right.
would never do. You would never want to do. You would never trust anybody. It'd be nuts. I mean, it would be crazy. And I think about that in the farming business because when I was in college was when mad cow disease was big, and it was because Oprah came out and said, "I'm never eating meat again because of the mad cow disease." And what those jackasses don't realize is that these cows, you have no idea the hundreds of diseases. They're just like you and me that they're susceptible to. Mad cow is just one of them. And so I think about that all the time and think about the building business, the building codes, and that the manufacturers are usually the ones pushing the change for the code. And there's simple things that if they would rely on the experts that really truly care about it, like Moen does, they'd be able to make some headway instead of putting stupid rules in the book. The book would be a lot thinner.
Be a lot thinner. If we just use common sense, it would be a lot thinner.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why they call it common sense when it's so uncommon. So I'm still fascinated by your story here about how you've generated this whole thing. You basically built Moen in Southwest Ohio. And so what's it like in a big corporate world going? I know we were just talking about these cool features in the faucets and everything like that, but I'm kind of dragging us away. But what's it like to work in a corporate world with Moen, this big company? Where are they based out of? Where do they? I mean, where do they manufacture things? How often do you go down there? How often do they come here? What's it like?
So Moen is an Ohio-based company.
Really?
World headquarters is in a suburb of Cleveland called North Olmsted.
How did I not know? Maybe I did know that.
It was probably a conversation we had a long, long time ago.
Maybe we might have been drinking beer.
We could have been. We could have been. At a function, a lot of distractions.
Yeah,
but so we're based out of Ohio, North Olmsted, Ohio, world headquarters, and then we actually have distribution centers in Las Vegas and Kinston, North Carolina.
Okay.
Our our primary assembly plant is in Sanford, North Carolina. And then we have another plant. Did I just say Sanford?
Yep,
New
Sanford.
Bern. New Bern is our main manufacturer. Okay. New Bern is out on the coast. Sanford is inland. That's more of a machining type operation. Sanford is actually the assembly plant. Okay. And then Kinston is our actual major distribution center.
All right.
Along with Vegas. We have a huge distribution center in Vegas to service the West Coast.
Does that make sense that you're there because of the shipping that you're doing, or is it just happened that you be in North Carolina?
No, North Carolina. We Moen ended up in North Carolina because of the unions back in the late 60s, early 70s.
Okay.
They just were tired of giving in to the unions, and they went to a state that had the right to work state. It was a right to work state.
Nice.
And so they went down there and they bought a lot of land and built modern plants that had air conditioning and heating in them and just all the amenities. And they didn't have a problem ever filling the jobs down there.
Oh, I'll bet.
So people were working in air conditioned and they were treated well and they were working for a Fortune 5 company. And, and we weren't paying the same amount of money we were paying for our labor there as we were paying for here in Ohio with the union. So
yeah,
it's kind of a funny story because they were on strike for quite a long time, which really kind of played into Moen's hands because they're like, oh, perfect. They want to strike. So they started bringing in trains and trucks, and they were loading up the equipment and all the raw materials, and they were trucking them to North Carolina. And the union bosses are like, oh, don't worry about it. They're just restocking the factory. So when we settle this thing, you guys can all go back to work. And when they finally did settle, there was about a third of the jobs. So, yeah. It's probably, some people are probably not happy about that, but at the end of the day, it was a company that wanted to survive.
Yeah. You got to do what you got to do.
Right.
Man, that's I don't know, this had anything to do with it. I love North Carolina. I love Charlotte. Because I go a lot of different places and I'm like, this is cool to be here for a couple of days. Mm-hmm. But Charlotte's one of the few places I've ever been where I'm like, I could live here. I really like it down there.
Yep.
And so in North Carolina is the same way. So let's roll back a little bit and go back to these faucets that are really cool. Anybody that's buying faucets, I mean, there's nobody out there like a general public going shopping for faucets every single day. There's so much of what goes on with these faucets that are entrusted by, they're entrusting their builder, whoever it is, to put the right stuff in, the good stuff, not necessarily just affordable stuff, but it's going to be there. What do people need to know about a faucet? What if I'm talking to person walking down the street and you're gonna educate them really quick on saying here's what you need to know about a faucet?
It's a good question. Good question. I think there's in today's world with all of the codes that we just talked about, one of the things that you need to know is every kitchen faucet. So let me back up a little bit. The most used appliance in your house is your kitchen faucet. It's used more frequently than anything in your home. Anything. More than the kitchen light switch, more than the garage door opener, more than anything. I mean, it's turned on and off. We've done numerous studies that prove this, that kitchen faucets turn on and off more than anything else in the house. So first of all, you want to find somebody that's a reputable manufacturer for your kitchen faucet. And that's what I always tell people. And so Moen was willing to say, hey, you know what? We build the best kitchen faucet, and we're going to prove it by telling you that you have a lifetime warranty on that faucet. We're the first ones in the industry to do that.
Wow.
So when you bought that faucet, if you registered it with Moen and you still live there 20 years later and something breaks on it and you call Moen, they will send you the part that you need to repair that faucet. What's great about it is we don't send out very many parts. So we know that our faucet is built well. So that's one of the other things. All the other manufacturers have tried to come up with a lifetime warranty, but they can't service it like we do.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that sets us apart from everybody else is that we stand behind that warranty. As a matter of fact, our call center is based in Cleveland, Ohio. It wasn't not farmed out overseas. We're willing to pay the extra money to have it done here. And so we can control everything.
Yeah. So that's a really good point. That's a really good point because I think that so many times I've done that. I used to do that. I was just up in Columbus last weekend and I bought a couple trucks up there because I lived up when I first graduated college. I was coming out of Johnstown, so I'm like, it's no big deal. It's only an hour or something away. But then you think about the serviceability of it and who you bought it from, and if I take it somewhere down here to get it fixed, or somebody's going to run me around, or I got this and that. You want that. You need that loyalty. You need that person, that manufacturer, that representative that's going to be there and say, "Hey, man, it's going to be good. Don't worry about it."
Yep,
that's really important.
Yep,
really important.
Yep. So the other thing that it kind of sets us apart, like I'm talking specifically kitchen faucets right now, but the federal government has mandated the flow rates on all kitchen faucets, all faucets in the house, right? Kitchen faucet went from, when I started in the industry, from around 3 gallons a minute and slowly kept inching its way down. We're at 1.75 gallons per minute out of a kitchen faucet. So 3 years ago, Moen looked at that and said, this is a little bit of a problem because people are complaining. Hey, the plumbers are getting called out because of people are saying there's not enough water flow because they had an older faucet, right? That was giving them 3-4 gallons a minute.
Yeah.
And everybody's buying these huge sinks now. Well, to fill that sink up was taking forever. So Moen kept studying it and figuring out, say, yeah, you know what, we can do something. We can do something. We can still be within the codes. So when you turn that faucet on, it's at 1.75 gallons a minute. But there's a little button on here that you push this button, now you double the flow rate. So now we're over 3 gallons again. Huh. And as soon as you turn the water off, that button kicks out and it's not on the next time you turn it on. You actually have to physically turn that button on in order to get the higher flow rate.
That's cool.
Yeah. So Moen, we call it the power boost.
Yeah.
So,
that's tough to get somebody excited about something like that because they don't understand those statistics. I mean, I didn't think about that. And then when you start talking about that kitchen faucet being the number one most used, I'm sitting there thinking, yeah, you're right. I don't even wash my hands in the bathroom. I wash my hands in the kitchen sink because it's bigger. I've got more room to move around. I'm usually 10 times dirtier than I don't want to ruin the towels that are in the bathroom. So I'm in the kitchen sink. I mean, doing dishes at night. And, yeah. Huh. Yep. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
My wife doesn't turn it on or off, though. She just leaves it on all the time.
Yeah.
Somebody over the stove cooking and the faucet's running. I said, honey, why is the kitchen faucet running? Oh, yeah, I forgot to turn that off.
I do that sometimes, too, but because we have a septic system, and I feel like in my mind, I'm flushing the system a little bit more. Philosophy. So,
clean that thing out.
I think this has been very helpful. Is there what else? What are we not talking about? What have we not covered about Moen, about John Sauerland?
Oh,
we could be here all day,
man, huh?
Do you have any predictions for the world? Tell me what's going on.
I don't have any predictions for the world. Do we really want to go down that road? I actually have some predictions.
I don't think we do.
I do have predictions, but I don't want to share them right now. Well, one of the things about Moen is we are the number one recognized brand in the plumbing industry. And when we say that's unaided brand awareness. So if you went out here in front of your office and we stopped everybody walking down the street and said, name a plumbing company, a company that manufactures plumbing products, Moen would be said more frequently than any other brand out there.
Okay.
So we're number one in unaided brand awareness.
That's good.
We are number one in repeat buyer. There's a lot of number ones that I forgot about, but there's a lot of number ones.
A lot of number ones.
Yep, we're at the top. Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
That's good. Well, I'll tell you, they're number one in our book. And I'll tell you this, while we want to be proud of our product and we want to say that this is great for the product, it's been a lot because of you and our loyalty, because you're part of this team here, which is what keeps Moen part of our team, and that's really important to us. And I just can't say enough about you, about Moen. I hope everybody learned something today, especially about faucets, about Moen, about why they should do it, about loyalty, about your cool story. I think that's really neat. And how you came up, and I just want to say thank you. I want to thank you for all you've done with us. I want to thank you for being part of this team, but I want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come here and be part of this.
I appreciate it. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, I'm glad to. Hey, everybody, this is John Sauerland with Moen Plumbing Fixtures, and I'm Jeff Wieland here on the WB Download. Thank you. All right, everybody. Man, that was an awesome interview with John. I like I said, I get so close to these guys because we've been working with them for so long, and we have a great appreciation for each other and the things that we do, and like our customers, I think that we really want to make sure that our customers know that we have their best interest in mind. And when I have a guy like John that I'm working with, I think that he has Wieland Builders' best interest in mind, and that makes him all the greater. We've gone back and forth through the years, drinking beer, hanging out at home builders meetings, seeing each other on different things, and working together. And it's just an honor to be able to work with him. So I really am grateful for him to take the time out of his day to come in here and spend time going down through things with us. One thing we didn't touch on with him that I didn't get a chance to touch on was he was just out at the Builder Show back there in February, and I'd love to hear what was going on out there, but I don't think that stuff is that big of a deal, really, because he gave us the cool insights on the things that are happening with Moen fixtures and with the plumbing world and the things that we can do. So hopefully you learned something from him. Hopefully you call him up and say, hey man, if you're a builder, you want to start buying Moen fixtures. And if anything, just hopefully you enjoyed the WB download. Listen to somebody who has something to do with building. Ben Fry told me that he doesn't listen to this podcast unless it has to do with building. So Ben, here you go, buddy. Hey, thanks again, everybody, for being here. Thank you, John, for being here from Moen Plumbing Fixtures. And I want to talk about the next episode coming up at the end of the month here. And we will be with David Dries from the Dries Company on here. And it's just going to be an awesome interview. I've known David for a number of years, and I know his family, and I think it's going to be cool to hear how this company operates and hear the difference between what they do and what we do, and talk about all the employees that they have, just the different operations. I'm really interested in diving in with Mr. Dries. It's going to be cool. So, and I want to remind you guys to subscribe to the WB Download wherever you get your podcast needs at, and then check us out at wbdownload.com, and then wielandbuilders.com. And if you want to reach out to me, go to wbdownload@wielandbuilders.com. And don't forget, man, we come out on the second and fourth Tuesdays of every month. This is the WB Download. I'm Jeff Wieland. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch in with you next time.